For my second critique, I have decided to choose a topic to archetypally describe a character from the Hasbro series known as Transformers. Now, the character I will be describing is Optimus Prime himself, aka the main hero, quote unquote hero, from the series, from the franchise series, and as well from the cartoons and older first generation Transformers. Now, first of all, Optimus Prime typically ranks or classifies on the lines of a sage, and I would personally classify him as a warrior and not a sage, and here's why. Well, first, the differences between a sage and a warrior are that a sage is typically an older character, more wiser character, i.e. Gandalf or Dumbledore, someone who has the power to utterly destroy any person, but because they lack the physical qualities to do so, they stand back and teach others. Obi-Wan Kenobi goes from a warrior to becoming a sage, even when he was younger, he portrayed a lot of sage-like qualities. Now, back on topic of why I believe Optimus Prime is classified more as a warrior and not a sage is because, one, he's old, but he's not that old. He fights. He is physically capable of fighting and defeating any of his enemies, and does so throughout many of the Transformers movies, games, cartoon series, etc. For a warrior, to be described as a warrior, it is someone who is willing to die or fight for a certain cause, I believe is the correct definition. Starting with first generation Transformers, Optimus Prime does rank as a sage. For the most part, he's a character that is admired by the other Autobots, is led fearlessly by him, and doesn't do a whole lot of major fight scenes, I guess is what I want to classify that as. But there are a few exceptions, and there are a few times where he himself is actually killed in battle and then somehow revived, rather, later on in the series, because, let's be honest, who could kill off Optimus Prime in a Transformers series and still expect to have a good show? Now, he is willing to die for the cause that he's fighting for, which is why I personally archetypally classify him as a warrior. I'm not, however, defending him being a hero in any way. He does kill a lot of humans, as well as a lot of other Transformers throughout the movies. In a TV show known as Transformers Prime, and then in the third season, Transformers Prime Beast Hunters, he is portrayed as a warrior more than a sage, in the fact that he goes out on a lot of missions with the Autobots, and he is the first person to engage in physical contact fighting with the bad guys, i.e. the Decepticons. And in the end of Season 2, their base in Arizona is discovered by Megatron and his ship called the Nemesis, which actually originates from Transformers War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron, when they are back on the actual planet, the pre-sequels to the movies. And the ship, the Nemesis, comes from an orbital turret known as Trypticon, who crashes on the planet, causes havoc for the Autobots. The Autobots take him down. Megatron, instead of reviving him, terraforms him into a spaceship and uses his chassis, his body, his everything, his power cells as a spaceship. That's where the Nemesis comes from. A little background. So it does tie together, which is pretty cool. Anyways, the Decepticons use the Nemesis, and they find Optimus Prime and the Autobots in their base in Arizona, inside a mesa. And upon finding it, they use the biggest gun they could possibly find, like every movie ever, to make it as dramatic as possible. And at the very last second, every Autobot escapes the base as it's being blown to bits. Except for one, however. Optimus Prime is buried alive by the rubble of metal and rock. When found, he is nearly dead. Now, the reason he died was because he forced all the Autobots out of the base so that he could, quote-unquote, save them and die for protecting them. It is not actually said that he does actually die. I take that back. In this series, he does die, and you do see him walking towards a figure. I can't remember the name of the figure. It's one of his old mentors. I think Zeta Prime is maybe who it might be, but I'm not entirely sure. Walking towards them, and they are dead, of course, so he is joining with the Allspark. There is an Autobot there at the time named Smokescreen who has a choice. The Matrix is presented to him, and he could become the next Prime and lead the Autobots forward, or he could use the Matrix and revive Optimus and bring him back, which is exactly what he does, because Hasbro would never kill off Optimus Prime, ever. That's a bad idea for them. He comes back to life bigger and stronger and better than ever, and is able to defeat Megatron within the next few episodes of the first season, or of season 3, pardon me. In Transformers 1 through 4, the actual movies, the action movies, in number 2, the second one, Rise of the Fallen, Revenge of the Fallen, he is killed in the woods by Megatron. He is protecting Sam when Sam is captured by Grinder, dropped off at a factory where Megatron and Starscream are interrogating him with a little crab bot to try and figure out why he has the shard and what the shard has implanted on his brain to tell him where the Sun Destroyer is so they can make more Energon for their army. This is why Megatron is, in my opinion, classified as a villain, because he is willing to kill other sentient beings to gain the power that he wants. Although, then again, he does want to use this Energon to bring back a life force. So, anyways, Optimus and Bumblebee storm the building, rescue Sam. Optimus drives away with Sam inside his truck mode. When he transforms in the woods, I don't know how Sam doesn't die. He falls out of a truck going 45 miles an hour. Optimus is left to face 3 of the most powerful Decepticons around: Grinder, Starscream, and Megatron. He kills Grinder, seriously injures Starscream, and Megatron gets the better hand of him, killing him. He is later revived in the movie, however, by the Matrix of Leadership, and again, the series continues. So that is why I classify Optimus Prime as a warrior. I've given some pretty good examples on how he is willing to fight for what he believes in, and what he does believe in is taking Cybertron back and giving freedom to all life on Cybertron, not just the Autobots. And I classify him fully as a warrior, and I do agree with him being classified as a sage on the point that he does also give helpful advice throughout the movies. Every movie begins with a monologue from him giving specific advice on what is about to come or a past, etc. He is a hero, he is a warrior in my opinion, but not a hero. He kills many lives.